testosterone naturally converts into estrogen. And so the hot flashes, the night sweats, the vaginal dryness can all go away, and you get your libido back, and you get your energy back, and you get to build your muscle tissue back, and you get your bone density back, and your mental clarity by raising the testosterone levels up where they're supposed to
We
be.
have a lot of, I'm in my 40s. I have a lot of friends in the same age demographic, and for our wives, for our friends' wives, their friends at the gym, they're all kind of talking about perimenopause. They're talking about, this premenopausal decade that no one's ever talked about. No one's ever given the grace to women about the hormonal imbalances, the challenges of the body changing. There certainly are very few husbands out there that really understand what's happening while it's happening, but it's happening. And I'm just curious as far as, we talked about some of the PTSD. We talked about some of the other things that you're seeing. What are some of the things that this demographic can pay attention to that might be helping them? Anything that you're seeing or advising in your space?
Absolutely. So again, the way we classify things damages a lot of thinking. Testosterone being a male hormone is probably the worst thing that you can think of. So here's the fun thing. So we'll get women in all the time. And I love working on couples because the guys and the women will come in and they'll sit and they kind of sit like just normal, like sitting straight up. And then, we'll talk to them like, how's this? How's that? And they're like, well, I have hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness. My libido's low. My energy's low. I'm getting fat, stuff like that. We'll pull their blood and we'll raise these women's testosterone levels back up. And one of the things I always tell, there's a story I always tell them, is I had a 52-year-old woman come in, got her on testosterone. She comes back in a couple months later, and she's like, hey, I had one of the craziest orgasms I've had last night in a long time. She goes, was that from the testosterone? I was like, yeah. And she goes, you didn't even tell me that. She goes, you need to lead with that next time. And so it's so much fun because what happens is that when these women get the testosterone back where they're supposed to, testosterone naturally converts into estrogen. And so the hot flashes, the night sweats, the vaginal dryness can all go away, and you get your libido back, and you get your energy back, and you get to build your muscle tissue back, and you get your bone density back, and your mental clarity by raising the testosterone levels up where they're supposed to be. So here's the fun thing. So like I told you, these couples come in, they sit like kind of straight up, and then like they come in, for the next checkup like 2 months later, and they will literally pull the chairs closer together and they'll lean towards each other because like now they're, here's the thing. When we talk about love language, we talk about the things men need and the things women need. The vast majority of men, our primary or secondary love language is physical touch. So if you give the woman back the ability to have stronger, better orgasms because her clitoris is engorged and actually gets blood flow and nerve function again, and so her orgasms are good, her libido is good, her energy is good, she's probably going to want to have sex more often. Well, now all of a sudden, he's having sex more often. He feels loved. He feels fulfilled. He's willing to do things for her. And all of a sudden, the relationship gets really, really tight again. And it's so much fun to watch that happen. So when we talk about, the best things for marriages are, if you can deal with the finances, great. But the sex is easy to deal with. The top two reasons people get divorced is their money and sex.
Right.
Well, let's fix the sex. It's easy. Make her like want it again. And then the first thing that happens when we talk about sex drive and sex function, they're like, oh yeah, it's so much better. First thing I do is I look at the guy and I go, have you read the 5 love languages? And they're like, what? I'm like, okay, new homework. You guys both go home, read this book, figure out what each other's love language is, and then you guys can talk to each other that way. Because a lot of the guys were like, all I had to do is tell her hair looks good, and that's the same thing for her as me having sex. And you're like,
Words of affirmation. Words of affirmation. Right.
Huge. And all of a sudden, people are like, man, this is so great. So when we start talking about how you're feeling, remember, if you feel something, good, bad, indifferent, it's a chemical thing. So we need to look at the chemistry. We need to reset the chemistry. Like, so is it a testosterone thing? Is it the like ADD is a big issue with the processed chemicals and the stuff that we're taking in. So if we have something going on in our body that we know isn't right and we want it to get better, look at the chemistry every time. And if we can bring it back to the way we were designed to function, you will get back the things you were designed to have. And so you get the libido back, you get the hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness to go away, the energy comes back, everything starts getting better as we restore the body back to where it's supposed to be. I don't want people to think of taking testosterone like taking a drug. Your body naturally makes it. You're just not making enough. So just like anything else your body's not making enough of, D3, B vitamins, anything, raise it back up to where it's supposed to be and you'll be fine. The vast majority of people who don't make enough testosterone, they don't make enough testosterone because of their stress level for a long period of time. And if you want to tell me that these wives and, and these moms have not had a giant level of stress over the past couple of years, you forgot what COVID was. So it's been a bad trip psychologically for a lot of these people. Give them back the stuff that makes their body run right. That's the biggest thing. So grab your testosterone, get with someone who knows what they're doing with testosterone, and brace it up. It'll be great. Like the vast majority of patients we worked with, 95% of the women, just testosterone is all they need. They don't need estrogen. They don't need progesterone. So the
And that
problem I have
helps
with
them with
estrogen,
the weight. That helps them with the weight as well, correct? Because the other thing that happens is they start to get they're doing all the right things. And you hear this a lot with our friends. They're doing all the right things. They're eating the right foods. They're exercising almost excessively, and they're not seeing the results. And part of the result is the chemistry is not correct.
exactly. So testosterone is the healing hormone. If you go to the gym and break your body down, what's healing it back together? If you don't have the testosterone, you're not going to heal. So we get into what's called the point of diminishing returns, this over-exercising you're talking about. So if you go to the gym and break yourself down 4 units, but you can only rebuild 3, you've done more damage than your body can handle. So you need to do something to change the body's ability to recover, regenerate, and heal. And the number one thing to do is testosterone. Like people come in, I want this peptide, I want that peptide. I'm like, balance your testosterone first, then add the peptides on top.
If you like clips like this, I have a similar clip here. And if you want to watch the full video, click here.